Hey guys, how's it going? Just like everybody else, it's time for fall cleanup. I'm going to start here in the veggie garden because I've got some cool season crops I need to get planted. Well, actually some starts and some stuff that we're just so directly into the beds. But first, I've got to get the beds prepared, get some of the old stuff out, new stuff in, fix some drip issues that I know that I've been having, and go from there. So let's get started. These were the vines from all the watermelons. This is the watermelon bed here. I don't know if you guys can see. This bed here was the bed that I was growing all of the watermelons. I've got a couple of plants in there, sunflower, I think that's a salvia, and what did I put in here? Phlox, just to attract some pollinator attention, but that's what's in this bed. I've still got fruit growing on here, the cantaloupe, and there's a watermelon. Down here, I don't know if it's going to make it or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut my losses. I don't want to be doing fall cleanup for the next month, so I'm going to cut it open, see what I got anyway. These are sweet passion cantaloupe. Actually, there's still another one on here too. But again, wasn't ripe yet, but. Okay, friends, that's one bed down, one to go, and I'll show you why here in a second. Okay, so in this bed right here, it's been cleaned up. It's already been prepped. I have a couple things in there, some salad mix, some beans growing. We'll plant more there. This is the bed that I just cleaned out with the watermelon vines. The watermelon and cantaloupe vines. I'm gonna remove the drip that's in there. The drip needs to be retooled. Across this way is the bed that had the cherry tomatoes and cucumbers growing. So this bed will also be cleaned out. And then this bed, frost hasn't taken my tomatoes. I've got several on here. I'm going to look at the forecast for the next several days and then just check and see if I can leave this up a little longer or not. This I'm willing to let stay up longer. But I need to see, I'm sorry for the sun, y'all. It's early in the morning. Trying to get this done before it gets warm. See how much longer I can let this stay up before I retool this bed. That bed has some dahlias still on it, but it's also got a caterpillar on there, and I don't want to remove that until I figure out what kind of caterpillar that is. Same goes for the one on the opposite end. Not quite. Here, I'm going to go ahead and take these out. I think they're tired, done. Said, hey, we'll see you next year. So I'll take those out. But that is the reason why I was saying I have one more bed to go. So we'll see. Let's go ahead and take care of these cherry tomatoes. Where did I put my snips? Let me grab the trash bag, guys. Sorry. I did try and plant several things in this bed, but they never really came up. Well, I do see one. I have to look and see what that was, but this bed didn't do as good as it's done in previous years. But I'll prep it better, give it more nutrients here today so that we'll do better next year. I also didn't get to come and trellis this like I was supposed to. I will say there were a lot of large projects that we took on this year that kind of took away from a lot of the, I don't know, I'll say gardening, but this is all, it all works together. And I needed to get that infrastructure in place so that I could go ahead and do more pretty flowers and more tasty veggies. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. That just means that next year it'll be spectacular. I don't know how this got all the way over there. I'm trying not to drop all the cherry tomatoes because I have tomatoes everywhere come next year from all the seeds. Crazy, right? It's getting warm fast. It's like 11 a.m. right now, and I'm already starting to sweat a little. The shirt is just sun protection linen. Air flows right through it. I try and be mindful of that when I'm out here most times. I try to be mindful of stuff all the time, but sometimes I forget. I'm human. I don't know what this is. I planted. I guess I can look at the tag here in a second. Curious. Okay, a little bit more trash over there. Some weeds in there. I can pull that after I pull that. Like literally right now I don't see any more tomatoes on the ground. If I walk away and come back, I bet you I'll see more tomatoes. All right, let's tackle the cucumbers. These were, hold on, let me pull these sticks out. These were lemon cucumbers. These are oh so good, you guys gotta try it. They look like little lemons when they're ripe, when they're yellow. The skin is thinner than your traditional green cucumber. Another reason I like them. And the flavor was a little sweeter. I'll post a picture of the packet up on the screen, but love these. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Gonna grow them again for the next foreseeable several years. I did stop picking these, I don't know, I want to say a couple weeks back, maybe 3 weeks back, because I did want it to just shut down. You know, when you don't pick your fruit, it signals your plant to just stop producing. So purposely did that with these cucumbers. Salanova green sweet crisp lettuce. I'm guessing that's what that is. I'm not really sure. That one lovely plant right there. I know I'm not the only one that put stuff in their garden and can't remember what it was. So I don't feel bad at all. All right, so we've cleaned out this bed. I'm gonna pull this drip, get the weeds, and then we'll go ahead and pull the drip in the watermelon/melon bed, pull that drip, add some compost, some biotone, some more raised bed mix in, and then start installing the new drip. All right, guys, I'm back. I took a little break. I decided, no, I'm going to go ahead and harvest these tomatoes. We'll have some green tomatoes. We'll have some sit out to ripen, but I want to get this area cleaned up. I don't want to have to come back and do something else. So let's go ahead and get these tomatoes harvested, and we'll go from there. Okay, my mic wasn't on a second ago, so I'm going to try that again. I decided that I'm going to go ahead and harvest these tomatoes because I don't want to have to come back out and still work on the same area. So harvest these tomatoes. Some are green, some are ripe, and then go ahead and prepare this bed just like we've done with the others. That's the plan. I've had so many mic issues over the past several months. I want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me. These are full of worm holes. At the beginning of the season, this bed was full of strawberries. And for whatever reason that I still have yet to understand, unless I got voles or something crazy, the whole bed, it was getting water, everything. all of my strawberries seem to have just, I don't know, something happened. Now I do have a couple right here. These plants I'll leave in the bed, but I don't know what happened. So I'm gonna mix this bed up just a little, and again, amend it just like I'm gonna do with the other ones here in the yard, in the garden. That one and then this one. So next step, clean this up a little and then we'll throw in the amendments. Get some of the leaves up, some of this loose, just junk in my opinion. I don't like leaving leaves in the bed as much as I can. I think the spiders have a field day existing where the flowers are. Or sorry, not the flowers, but the leaves. This bed doesn't have a bunch of junk in it. All right, guys, it's been a long morning. Okay, so let me show you what I've got done and what we still have yet to complete working on the veggie garden. So the 4 beds, let me try and stand back. These 4 beds, 2, 3, and I did that one actually yesterday. On the other side, I found 4. We got the old stuff pulled out. We've got the old drip removed. We filled with some raised bed mix. We have filled with some land and sea compost, and I'm going to water these in right now so that, you know, the microbes can start microbing and do what they do. And then later on today, when I'm not in the middle of the day, because it's hot already, I'll come back out. I'll hook up the drip to these 3 beds that still need it. I'll show you guys how I do that. And then we'll work on getting some of these the raised beds I'm talking about so you guys can see. These standing raised beds, we'll work on getting those cleaned out, take the dahlias out of there, fill with some fresh soil because I don't like the soil that's in there. Cheap soil just is awful. I knew better, but I was in a rush. Anyway, we'll do that. We'll try and tidy up the sweet peas that are growing on the trellis. They're everywhere. Maybe today. Maybe we'll do that. My main concern today is just getting the beds ready so that I can start my crops. You guys saw that I started all the greens in my last video. Those are growing nicely out. I'll show you guys what those look like, but I want to make sure that in the next week I can get them in these beds and growing, growing, growing. Hey guys, okay, right quick, I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing, watching the bee. What I'm doing for the drip in the bed. So let me show you my setup. All right, so for each bed, I already had drip running to them, right? I have drip running all across the garden, and it's running through supply tube. And I won't trace all of that, but anyway, it comes from the water source and through a supply tube. So into this particular bed, which was the one that had the watermelons and cantaloupe in, the water source comes from this corner. This is my water tube, my supply tube. I've got a T down here. I don't know how well you can see it, but it is a T. Looks like this, right? It is put into the supply tube. This tube runs up, and here I've just got an L so that I can take the water into the bed. That's what's happening there. Now what I'm going to do this time around is I'm going to just connect another supply with a shutoff. I'm also going to add a shutoff, right? I'm going to add another supply tube the length of the bed, and that's this black one right here. It's still twirled up, so it's kind of hard to get down here, but let me see if I can bring it closer. Okay, so this is the supply tube, standard supply tube you can get from any of your big box stores. So we're going to take and connect and switch hands because I'm right-handed. Switch this, connect it, bumblebee. Hold on. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Get out of his way. Okay, I'm going to connect it to the supply tube coming from the ground. And then once that's connected, I'm going to splice it. I'm going to add this shutoff. All right, the shutoff valve goes here. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do to hook up the emitters. Okay, and I find that since this tube is so rigid, it's very rigid, guys. It's kind of hard to bend. You can kink it, but it's rigid. I find it's easier to heat this. That's why I've got one of these. I find it's easier to heat this, and that way I can get it to pull onto this plastic piece easier. So I'm going to do that. Even though it's hot as I'll get out here right now, you would think that it's be warm enough. And look at that on. Okay guys, so that's what that looks like once you've got that on there. And so, like I was saying, I'm also going to add the shutoff valve. Water flows freely, and then shut off. In order to do that, I'm going to splice it here down the line. Doesn't really matter where. Once again, I'm going to heat this so that I can get this shutoff valve into the tube. Got a bit of a breeze too, but definitely need to heat this. Okay, and then I'll heat the other side on here and connect that. All day long it's been burning up, now there wants to be a breeze. Okay. That is it. This is the supply line setup that I've got going for each one of these beds. I'll stake this down and we'll close off the end. Let me show you guys that. Okay, so down here at the other end, I've got up the other side of the open tube. They make these things called figure eights, so you can block off the tube. You don't have to. You could just bend it over to block off the other end or to close off the end of the tube. But they do make these that you can use. You just fold it over, put the side on, and it essentially will lock this end of the tube closed. So I'm just going to stake this down to kind of keep it in place. Use a landscape staple. All that's needed there. Now for me, because I had 1/4 inch drip tubing running from my bed, make sure you don't fall over, hold on. I had 1/4 inch drip tubing originally as the water source for watering my beds. I'm going to pull this out. This is attached to the supply, the water supply there. I can pull this out, and they make these things called goof plugs that I can just patch that hole up with. This is what they look like. They essentially just fill the hole that you have poked into the line. So I'm going to do that now. Sometimes they're hard to get out though. I will say that. But we'll see how long it takes us or how easy it is. Yeah, not bad at all today. I'll take it because usually they are not that easy, trust me guys. And just gonna this will be a little difficult because they're difficult to work with. There's the hole. I just I just pulled the line out. You see the hole there. I'll stick it in there. I'll probably need my gloves. Hope I don't drop it in the rocks. There, it's in. And it just fills the hole. That was there. All right, our part's done. Now we need to figure out where in the bed we want to run our new drip. I have decided I'm going to go with a new type of drip system. The 1/4 inch line I had running there, it was okay. But I always felt like my beds never got enough water. Like coming out of spring, well, no, even in spring, it just seemed like the beds were a little drier than they need to be, and I didn't want to run water for so long, because then the bed wouldn't take up the water and it'd start overrunning out of the bed. So, rather than try to explain it to you, let me just show you what I've done in the other bed. Show and tell instead of just tell. So just like we did in the bed over there, we've got our supply line, long supply line, shut-off valve. We just did that. Now I'm going to take these drip emitters, which are the ones on the stick where you can adjust the amount of water comes out the spray. You hook that to another 1/4 inch supply line, and then you just hook it into the main supply line. And you can adjust the length however long you want that to be and put them in the bed. And this way, couple of things. One, I can still define where I want the water to come based on what I'm planting. 2, I can adjust the amount of water that comes out of each head. 3, if I can't get that right, I can neck down the shutoff where all of the water is coming from the main valve to lessen the amount of water coming through to this bed, period. So that's the plan for the rest of the beds. Wash, rinse, and repeat. All right, I'll talk to you soon.